Well, good to see everyone again. Glad you're all here, and just good to be back. After 2 days, it's good to see the guys out in the field in meetings face to face. It's been good. We've had guys have been strong in workouts. Every day we kind of split it up where we're in some ways our workouts have been better than ever because we're splitting them up into smaller groups to kind of keep the social distancing. And so really a lot of good attention there for each player and just tweaking the schedule so that you can do that and overlapping things in a way that you just have to be creative and make the most of it. And it's worked out well. 2 days into it, worked out a couple kinks there and then feel good. And then we have good install meetings with the guys. There's good energy in the meetings. And then we get walkthrough. We get 60, we're in a stage right now where the rules are, we get 60 minutes of walkthrough. Our coaches are doing a great job of really maximizing that 60 minutes. Very efficient players are doing a good job. It's just walkthrough. So, it's walkthrough. So it's, in the NFL, it's really light jog, but it's been good, productive. It feels good to see everybody back there on the field. Obviously you've seen the opt-outs. We had Skai Moore yesterday. And then today we had two more. We had Marvell and Rolan Milligan. I've had communication with all of them. These guys are family to us, respect their decisions, personally support them, want them and their families to stay safe and healthy. And we'll maintain contact with all of them, but also understand their decision.
Mike Chappell, go ahead.
There we go. Yeah, you mentioned what you're able to do on the field, or you said you're on the field. So as far as how much, I guess, more up speed things can guys do now? Is Philip throwing with guys, or what's allowed as far as receivers, quarterbacks, and all that?
Yeah, it's like phase one modification with some modifications. So yeah, they're out there throwing, but with no coaches. So I haven't seen any of that. I talk to Philip every day after the session and try to get a blow by blow. It's funny, you're so hungry to see the film, you're so hungry to watch these guys do it. Well, how did so-and-so look? Tell me what throws did you throw? How did you throw? Describe it to me. It's just getting a taste of it. Now it's fun. I'm half kidding, but I'm actually serious. So yeah, they're working hard, but they're ramping up. I think they're doing that in a ramp up phase and not going crazy.
All right, Stephen Holder. Stephen.
Sorry, I was on a different screen. I was kind of curious, just doing the thing on DeForest Buckner and watching or rewatching the Super Bowl and the way he played in that game. I'm wondering, I'm sure you watched the Super Bowl, but did you at any point watch him specifically on film or anything like that? And if so, did you have any impressions? That was quite a performance.
Yeah, no, it was a dominant performance. I did go back, when Chris told me that DeForest was in play, it was the first thing I did so it's been a little bit since I watched it, but yeah, it was a monster performance and in the big stage. And I think that's one of the things that you look for. If you're going to invest what we've invested into DeForest and, expect him to be the kind of leader that we want him to be on this team, part of what you want to see is you want to have your biggest games in the biggest moments. And that's a trait that I think that special guys have. And certainly that was good evidence for DeForest, and I want him to bring that here.
Olivia Ray.
Hey, sorry, Charlie here, subbing in for Olivia. Coach, curious, the first time you saw Philip at the complex, what was that interaction like? I know it's been a little while, but and I know it's been crazy. Anything to share on kind of the first time back with Phil?
Yeah, no, it was actually kind of funny. He was in the weight room lifting, and I walked by and he said, "Hey, coach," and I just kind of glanced over and waved because someone was walking with me and I was talking to them, and because Philip had a mask on, I didn't even recognize it was him. So, but yeah, no, it's great. Obviously, we got a great relationship. When you work with the guy for 3 years, and in this business, that's a long time. And you get close, you grind it out, you go through some big time highs and lows together. And those, there's something that's formed in battle there. There's something that going through those times together that brings you close. And I think we're seeing that here with our team here, that, now that we've been, now we've been here together 2 full seasons as a team. We've had some pretty significant highs and lows as a team. I think like our DNA and the kind of players and coaches that we have, I just think every one of those moments, even the bad moments, when you got the right people, end up forming foundational things in us as a team that help us go forward to this year.
Okay, Phil B.
Hey, Coach. Thank you for your time. I was Googling and I saw that Marv Levy wrote an open letter for your candidacy for head coach back in 2018. And obviously, I know you played for him a long time. I'm wondering, just maybe from left field here, what's something or what are the things that you learned from Marv that you use as a coach today?
I cannot say enough about Marv Levy. Of course, in my mind, and obviously in a lot of people's minds since he's in the Hall of Fame, this is truly one of the great coaches that has ever been on an NFL sideline. This man was so special. I mean, I'll get emotional talking about him because I just wish you all would be afforded the opportunity to get to know him. He is a special, special human being. You ask any of the players that were on that team, he just had a personal drive. He had a competitiveness about him and his personal drive. I mean, he was in his, I don't know how old he was when he was coaching us, but he was pretty old, but he'd working out every day. It meant something that and then he just connected with everybody. He just knew how to connect with you as a person. He was brilliant, smart, very sophisticated, but yet very humble and down to earth. And so, I learned from him that you treat everybody fairly, but not necessarily everybody the same. I learned from him that, winning is not our goal. It's excellence in preparation. Winning will result. So many things. A team's morale is directly proportional to the degree that they're prepared. He just knew the right buttons to push on every player, and it was all genuine. It wasn't manipulation. It wasn't for personal gain. It was for all the right reasons. He's a class act and a great coach. And I talked to him. I talked to him probably about a month ago, and I don't know if it'll happen. It was my dream that he would have been at our home opener in 2018, but he wasn't able to be there. And so we talk a couple times, 3, 4 times a year. And I don't know if the situation's right. I'd love to get him down here to a game. He's open to doing that, but the time's got to be right.
Yeah. Favorite quote from him, the only must win was World War II.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've talked to him a couple of times. So anyway, I'm sorry. I just wanted to ask you about him. Thank you much.
All right, Zach Kiefer.
Frank, is it even possible to compare your job right now with last year's training camp, like a day-to-day basis? And what are the things that are most different, that are the most difficult to get used to in this new training camp world right now?
Yeah, I mean, Zach, that's an interesting thought. I hadn't thought about it like that, but it's different. And so we're still so new into it, right? Only 2 days really into, I mean, it feels like it's been longer than 2 days because the rookies were here and now we're in this phase where we got strength and conditioning. So it feels, in one sense, it feels like we're all in, we're working hard, we're getting a lot done, we're being productive. In another sense, until you're in pads, it doesn't really feel like you're in training camp. So I think I'll be able to give you a better answer than that as we go on and get in pads and get working with the guys in that way.
All right, Joel Erickson.
Frank, obviously Marvell and Rolan, the decision is personal and medical, but from a football standpoint, does this create some spots that guys have to compete for now in the secondary? Yeah,
it really does, and that's good for the team. It's good for everybody. Competition really brings out the best in us. I just think this year, the other side of it is if I'm a player this year, more than any other year, if you're a guy who is on a roster and you're not sure, you're looking at the depth chart and you're thinking, where am I at in the depth chart? Or how many reps am I getting this year? More than any year, I just think more guys are going to get opportunities this year. And that's why you really got to respect the guys that opt out. I mean, for the personal reasons that they're opting out, because they're potentially missing an opportunity. These guys probably going to play. These guys are good football players. We had 3 good football players who've opted out, but understandably so. So you respect those decisions. But this is a year where we're preparing like everyone on our team is going to play, and they need to be ready to play. And so the way you get ready to play is compete out of practice, compete against one another out of practice out there in that field that I'm looking at right now. So that's what we're looking forward to doing.
Kent Sterling.
Coach, is there anything you've had to do to make sure that Jacoby Brissett is engaged and working at the same high level he did last preseason?
No, it's been fun. No, Jacoby's a real pro. He's completely engaged. And it's really fun. You can just see after going through a whole year, you can see his confidence level has grown. I can feel his mastery of the offense. I can continue to see how we've always told you guys, and this, what a great teammate he is on how he and Phillip have connected. And, obviously Phillip's a brilliant, smart guy who already knows our offense, but there are some nuances to see the two of those guys, going back and forth. So Jacoby knows that Jacoby's a leader on our team. He's a leader on our team. And just because Phillip's the starting quarterback, Jacoby will just be a strong leader on our team as our backup quarterback. And that's what we need from him.
Kevin Bowen.
Hey, Frank, thanks for the time. I know last week you and Chris really harped on wanting guys to have all of the information before they made a decision on playing this season or not. As you get near to or a week into it, I guess, do you expect any more guys to opt out, have guys express they're on the fence and they want to wait about it more, or where are you at with the rest of your roster?
Yeah, I really don't know what to expect, Kevin. Of course, my mind says, no, I'm not expecting any, but these are personal decisions. And so we'll just see. I would obviously like to talk with everyone before they make that decision. But I understand that, I understand the dynamics of that. So we'll respect whatever decisions are made. We're optimistic that, we think we're in good shape, but you never know. So deadline's tomorrow at 4:00. We'll find out in the next few hours.
All right, George Bremer.
Coach, you've had the rookies now in the building for a couple of weeks. Are there any initial observations that stand out?
Yeah, I mean, guys, intelligence. It seems like a real smart group, really grasping the offense. You look at Jonathan Taylor and Michael Pittman, physically, two physically dominant looking athletes. So, really excited about that. Julian Blackman really seems, obviously he's still in his rehab process, but, you get a good feel there. And he's on PUP, so he can't do anything, but just hearing him, listening to him, just watching his body language, you just get a good feeling there. Jacob's done a nice job, and the rest of our draft picks have all, really engaged and really learning. So feel good about each one of them. But we know, we got to get the pads on and look forward to getting them reps out in practice and seeing how they respond to making a few mistakes out there. And once they feel the speed and power of the game at this level, that'll be fun to interact with them on that level.
Bob Kravitz.
Hi, Frank.
Hey, Bob.
To the degree that you're willing to share, did Skai, Roland, or Marvell give you or the organization some indication as to why they were making the decision that they made? And also, following up on that, have you been at all surprised at the number of players who have opted out?
Yeah, Bob. Yes, I had conversations with all those guys, and and yeah, I did get reasons, but obviously those are personal. So I'm sure you understand that I wouldn't share those or disclose those, but respect each one of those guys and really feel like each one of those guys are family. So am I surprised at the number, league wide? I really didn't have any expectations. I wasn't sure what to think. This is a whole new realm, right? This is a whole new realm. And there's a lot of dynamics that go into that decision. So, I'm like everybody else. We're full speed ahead. We let our guys know we're here to talk to you. We want to talk through these things with you, give you any information that you can to make a decision. But other than that, we're so focused on getting ready and moving forward that's the process that we're in.
Thanks.
All right, Mike Wells.
Hey, Frank, how you doing? First question I'm going to ask you is, obviously with Doug Peterson's situation with Philly, having to miss some time, what is the pecking order for your coaching staff if for some odd reason, which hopefully it doesn't happen, you had to miss some time?
Yeah. I've had long conversations, with our staff about that. In particular, a long meeting with each of the coordinators. And we've gone through and written down a plan for every position. So whether it's the quality control coach or whether it's a position coach or whether it's a coordinator or whether it's myself, what's the plan? And so we've mapped that out. We've written it down. I've talked it through with Chris, and so that all those scenarios are covered.
And then I wanted to follow up, and obviously I take it you won't tell me who would take over for you, right?
That's correct.
Okay, but then I also wanted to follow up too and ask you.
But Mike, that is an interesting question. It's a fair question, and I'll share that. I don't mind sharing this with you guys, because I told the staff, I said, this was about a month ago, and maybe you guys will find this interesting. I think it's interesting, so I'll share it with you. It was an interesting decision. About a month or 6 weeks ago, when I was talking to the staff about this, I said, hey, we'll have a plan. Don't know what we're in the process of working through it. I haven't decided yet whether I'm going to tell everybody on the staff what that plan is, because I don't want it to be a distraction to anybody. I don't want the person who's next man up to be thinking about that and to be distracted by that at all. And I realize it could be a distraction the other way as well. So after ruminating with that and wrestling that through, and then I talked it through with Chris, and I just decided that I was going to tell the coordinators what the plan was. I'd map it out with the coordinators, but that was it. Not going to share with anybody else. Let's just go to work. And then it's all written down. It's all mapped out. Chris knows it, so we all know it, and we'll move forward with that. So.
No, that's understandable. Hey, I did have a follow-up question on a different subject though. In all your years of playing and coaching, Darius was he's been pretty outspoken on how he pays attention to social media and doesn't block it out, and it helps fuels him. Have you ever, I know social media wasn't around, but have you ever had a teammate who was as passionate about reading newspaper clips? Yes, I'm saying newspaper clips since that's what was out there when you played, and paying attention to this type of stuff?
Yeah, all of them. All of them. You guys know everybody loves you, and you guys know you have an influence. That's part of what makes this game great. Right? We all work together in a sense, and that's good. We like that, and the players like that. And most like 99% of the players that I've been around that are motivated by that stuff. It is, it's not always. Sometimes it gets personal. Every now and then, if they feel like the dig goes past, hey, bad game, bad player, and really gets personal, then that's another level. But most of the guys, I just think they know it. It fuels the fire, because everybody today, right? Everybody in one sense or another is building their brand. And when something is out there that tarnishes the brand, that's just going to create conflict and create motivation and at some level. And I was never one of those guys. I'm still not one of those guys, but I read what I can when I can. It's not as much as I'd like, but I like to see what you guys are writing every now and then. And Matt keeps me up when I can't. And, but yeah, so I respect, there's multiple layers of motivation. That is certainly one of them. I want our players to use it all. Anything that's going to motivate you, go ahead and use it for the good.
All right, Greg Doyle.
Yes, sir, Frank.
Hey, Greg.
Hi, how are you doing, sir?
Good.
Good. So about this thing with Skai and Milligan and Tell, first of all, there's no way you didn't recognize Philip Rivers from that mask. There's no way you saw that goofball in a mask and thought, I don't know who that is.
It was only a glance. I would have if I got a upfront view, but was walking by to the side.
Okay, coach needs glasses. News story. Okay, next one. The real question: did Skai tell Milligan? Did they tell the team as a group, or you and Chris privately, or both? And this is such new territory, and I know it's private. So up to a point, what can you tell us about what that looks like?
Yeah, they're all private decisions. Telling Chris and I.
Not that. So no locker room. No. Hey guys, I'm out.
Correct.
Thank you.
All right. Two more, Stephen Holder.
Excuse me. Hey, my question's kind of been answered, but along the same lines, I was just going to ask you, I know I don't expect you to talk about details of these conversations that you've had with these individual guys, but can you give us a sense of just, what those conversations were like in terms of, I mean, this is such a serious subject and just the sensitivity of it. And just, can you characterize the conversations in any way?
With the
without
three guys
giving away details,
With the three guys who opted out.
Yeah.
I mean, I really can't give you, I want to give you detail, like I want to give you everything, but, I just don't think principally that's the right thing to do. I just tell you that, you can do the math. Obviously, if they're for personal reasons, you can do the math and, I'm sure figure out that what's that, they're usually some risk that they feel is increased at a level that makes them feel uncomfortable. Yeah. And, and whether that's with them personally or with a close family member, because right. And I know we all recognize that that's part of the risk. It's not just about you. If you have a wife, if you, if young children, if you, whatever, and I'm just using generic examples here. So, all those things are involved.
I guess the better way to phrase my question would be just, if you could speak to just how much they struggled with this decision. This is huge. They devoted their life to this game, their lives to this game, and then to have to make this decision, it just seems really heavy and weighty. And I wondered if that kind of came through in your conversations.
Absolutely. And I think because of the nature of our team and the closeness of our team in our locker room, and I think because everybody thinks we have a really good team this year and that we're going to do some good things, that makes it that sentiment was very strongly expressed. So yeah, good point.
All right, last question is going to go to Kevin, and real quick, media, just stay on the line because I'm going to have Philip hop in as soon as Coach is done here. So Kevin, go ahead. Last question for Coach.
Frank, earlier in the year, Chris talked about trying to avoid playing in momentum, which I know is probably much easier said than done. And it just kind of happens that you guys have gotten on great streaks and had some other not so great streaks in your 2 years. As a coach, how do you kind of wrap your mind around that? What steps do you take to try and avoid that? And how much has that been on your mind?
You try to get to go back to a phrase that was born 2 years ago. Really, you try to get to a 1-0 mentality, good or bad, that each week you got to reset the table. And so that's really the answer. It's really the answer that you got to start every week fresh. It's okay to feel the momentum of a winning streak, or it's okay to use the momentum of a losing streak to motivate you, but that's only surface level stuff. It's got to be deep down, resetting it every week is the key, I think.